a privilege to speak to all of you. And as a pastor, I need my safety blanket. So I said, can I use this pulpit in the back? A few years ago, I took my oldest daughter, Lucy, on a fishing trip about 7 miles off the coast of Destin, Florida. Now, they called it deep sea fishing, but it was still close enough to see all the condos and the parasailers along the shore. It was the two of us and a boat captain named Gary. There was a slight breeze, spotty cloud cover, and it was going to be a great morning for fishing. Gary was the pro, and he knew top spots to put us on fish and guaranteed that we would hit our limit on this 4-hour fishing trip. So we arrived to our spot. We saw fish all over his fish finder. We dropped our lines and immediately started catching the fish. We caught a few different types, but we were really after the red snapper. We caught a few of those. We caught a lot of drumfish and a lot of other crazy things. But it seemed every time we dropped the line, we had a fish on in about 30 seconds. Now, I'm having a great time. I love to fish. I love to eat fish. Captain Gary is loving it, and Lucy is feeling very sick. It's about 10 minutes into our 4-hour charter, and she says, "Dad, I am not feeling very good." I knew as soon as I looked at her that she was seasick. I looked at her, I looked at Gary, I looked at my fishing pole, and I knew that this trip was going to be cut short. Even though we were catching fish, the waves were moving the boat at such a pace, sometimes 2 to 3 foot swells with the boat. Captain Gary, though, the ever professional, said, "It's no problem. This happens all the time. I know how to help your daughter feel better. Pull your lines in. Let's move the boat." Then he looked at Lucy and he said, "You come, stand by me at the helm and watch the horizon." So, within about 30 seconds of moving, we're driving away. I didn't like the idea at first. In fact, I thought it was quite strange. The shore was behind us to the north. The fish were below us in the water. And now we're driving south, headed directly towards the horizon. But about 30 seconds later, Lucy says, "Dad, I'm starting to feel better." It was amazing how quickly those two changes affected her mood, her nausea, and got us both ready to get to a new spot to put our lines in again. We simply changed the location. We moved the boat from one place to the other, and we changed what we were looking at. We watched the fixed point of the horizon, the ever-distant line where the ocean meets the sky. I have daughters, so I know that lyric from Disney. I've never forgotten that day of fishing for a lot of reasons. The special time with my daughter, my time with Captain Gary, who I've called again, and what it taught me about how we orient our lives when we feel chaos and stress walking through the normal storms of life. Now, as a pastor, I get to walk with people through the best of times and the worst of times. The hard stuff is hard for everyone, even if you're a pastor. We deal with people in marriage problems and family crises, loss of a loved one, financial hardships, and so many other things. We all experience the storms of life and the chaos that comes with it. Beyond the personal, chaos seems to be normal in our culture today. Social pressures, political unrest, confusion about identity, race, politics. We all have our concerns about what's happening on the international stage and inflation throughout our global economy. It seems that our world is moving in a way that's nauseating to many, confusing to most, and we feel it everywhere. We feel it in our homes, we feel it in our families, we feel it at work, online, but all of us feel it at some measure internally. But I think what helped my daughter that day with Captain Gary is what will help each of us steer clear from anxiety and the stresses of our day. When we are in times of chaos, when we find ourselves at unrest and we're looking for a way towards peace, I want to give you the same thoughts that Captain Gary gave Lucy. The first thing is move your boat. Literally change the position of your life. That means find a new friend group. That means look for a new place. For so many of us, if we're honest, we stay spun up and anxious simply because we stay in the same places, we stay in the same chat rooms, we stay in the same relationships. We stay on the same national news channels and wonder why we keep angrily repeating that echo chamber. We stay in the same job that isn't satisfying us or providing for us. We keep hanging out with the same toxic friends that got us in trouble last time. Or we keep getting pulled back into the middle of unhealthy family or in-law family relationships. What worked for Lucy will work for you. Change the position of your boat. Transfer the power of influences in your life. Make a strategic move to no longer allow the waves of negativity or the currents of chaos to dominate your life. Listen to me, it is your decision to seek a place of peace in your life. Many of you have heard the serenity prayer. I learned it as a kid before I was ever a person of faith. My grandmother had the serenity prayer on the wall of our guest room, her guest room. And I remember trying to go to bed early at night because I was a kid and they'd say it was time for bed. And I'd lay there and I'd memorize the serenity prayer. It teaches us to pray to the Lord, grant us the serenity, the peace to accept the things I can't change. And the second half of that prayer is grant us the courage to change the things I can. And grant us the wisdom to know the difference between those two. Some things you can't change, but some things you can. I've shared this mantra with a number of people recently, especially men around my age who feel stuck and stressed about the realities of their life situations. I've said this numerous times, especially recently. Nothing will change until something changes. And nothing will start until you decide to start it. That means if you're in chaos at your job, find a new job. The U.S. Labor Bureau says currently, as of July of 2024, there are 7.7 million open jobs right now in America. Move your boat. If your relationship with your in-laws causes you massive anxiety, hire a counselor and limit your holiday trips. Move your boat. If your health is causing you to live with fear of death and constant stress, change your habits, change your diet, join a gym, start working out today. Move your boat. If you get super worked up over all the commentary related to social issues, politics, all the craziness, turn off social media and turn off national news for a month. Get your life back and move your boat. Move your boat. Move the position of your life from chaos to more peaceful waters. Many times we find ourselves stuck in storms that we've allowed ourselves to stay in. And I want to challenge you first, move the boat. Second is focus on the horizon. Now, this is the part of the talk that may rub you the wrong way, but find the horizon. Notice I didn't say, find your horizon. And I also didn't say, make whatever horizon makes you the most happy. I said, focus on the horizon. What I love about the horizon is it's a fixed position. It's out in front of us. It's morally and emotionally neutral. The horizon is other than. That means it's not here where the waves are. It's not here where the sickness is. It's not here where the chaos is. The horizon is not here, it's there. It's not moved because of what's happening here. It's actually not impacted at all by the waves that we're sinking in. And it's a real place where you can set your attention. I like the idea of moving the boat as your decision to change your position. I like the idea of focusing on the horizon as our willingness to focus on outside realities, specifically what's objectively true. Objective truths need to become our horizon. Part of the chaos we live in right now is because we're working really hard to define and redefine what's truth, what's real, and what's factual. The questioning of everything that has been true for centuries is now destabilizing so many and causing confusion and chaos for the next generation. The older generation is rolling their eyes, the middle generations are empowering this behavior, and the younger generation have no idea how damaging their subjectivity will be, in fact, long term. It's all an experiment which will bear bad fruit in the decades to come. Objective truth is like the horizon. It just is. It's just there. You can't move it. We never live without it. No matter how hard we try, we can't change it. Objective truth just is true. Like the horizon, objective truths cannot be rewritten or redefined. Objective truths cannot be deconstructed or reconstructed. Objective truths just are, and they exist in spite of what's happening around us. In preparing for this talk, someone asked me the most ironic question. He said, Mike, how do you define objective truth? I thought, this is a trap. A subjectivity trap, haha. But objective truth is something that's true for everyone, regardless of agreement and regardless of circumstances. Historically, objective truth was just called the truth. We need to get back to a place of looking at objective truth as a horizon to focus on. Because honestly, we're in a time of such chaos around truth that we need to just set our eyes on objective truth as something to be focused on, not a line to be moved. When I look for objective truth, ironically, people don't assume this of me, but I always first look to the sciences. The horizon of objective truth can be very easily seen in the natural created order of things. The horizon of objective truth can be seen in natural and human biology. The horizon of objective truth can be seen in the hard, concrete realities of math. 2 plus 2 is 4, even if you had a bad upbringing. The horizon of objective truth can be seen in the authentic and honest telling of history. As a pastor, I have to believe that the highest view of objective truth comes from what has always been known as the queen of all the sciences, the science of theology. It's interesting how a lot of people assume as a pastor that I either believe in faith or I believe in science, and they're somehow at odds. Let me just help you here. Theology has historically been considered a high scientific study. In fact, most of the oldest universities in our nation started as seminaries to study the study of God. All of the natural and physical sciences continue to affirm the realities believed in the study of theology, the study of God, and the study of God's truths. The greatest objective reality is the objective truth of God Himself, and He has revealed Himself to us. His words carry the most weight in seeking objective truth because He is in fact the full measure of all things true. He said, I am the truth. Greek philosophers in Platonic and Socraterian philosophy used the term logos to describe the eternal realities of objective and total moral truth. John, the gospel writer, describes Jesus as the fulfillment of this logos. In fact, in John 1, John writes that truth of eternity became flesh in the person of Jesus. You knew I had to mention that because of what I do, right? Let me close with this thought. In times of great chaos, in times of great turmoil, whether it's in your personal life or your reflection of the world around us, when your world is sick with confusion, seemingly upside down, follow the wisdom of Captain Gary. Move your boat. Yeah, that's what you can do. Change your position. Change your circumstances. And second, focus on the horizon of objective truth. As I was driving to this talk, I had a final thought and a commentary on this whole concept. You can move your boat, but you cannot move the horizon. That's part of our chaos. Many in our world today are determined to keep our boats right where they are, and they want to move the horizon to them. That's just not how it works. The way we got free from chaos with Gary was the boat had to move while the horizon stayed fixed. There's an ancient statement that says, if you seek the truth, you will find the truth. The horizon truth is not meant to be created. It's meant to be found. Thank you.